Let's talk about terrorism. In the United States, we have 1.3 million enemies of the people of the United States who run our country. These enemies are all named Esquire. Esquire means scumbag lawyer, and it's a title that is given to all lawyers when they join the Bar Association. Not all of them use it, but all of them can use it. Lawyers usurp the position of we the people as the authorities in our country. As written in the Declaration of Independence, the 300 million people, humans in this country, are supposed to be running the show and calling all the shots. And as the last paragraph of the Declaration of Independence also told us, we were absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, which owns the Bar Association. The people who own the British Crown own the Federal Reserve, the TV networks, and the Bar Association, which controls the actions of every lawyer on earth. So what do we have to do? We have to unite, and we have to order the cops to remove every lawyer from our government. Then we have to get together, seize the TV networks, abolish the Federal Reserve, and explain to everyone in the country exactly how the lawyers usurped our position as the authorities in our country to destroy our freedom and make us comply with the rules for our behavior as set by the owners of the Federal Reserve, who control all of our politicians, all of our lawyers, and thus tell the lawyers what rules to make for our society to destroy our freedom, which has slowly disappeared since the Rothschild family created the Federal Reserve in 1913. This is not very difficult to understand if you just think about it for a little while. Look at the last paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. Then read the top part that tells you what to do about it. And skip the part in the middle that lists all the grievances against King George and the British government. And understand that the people have the power to fire this whole government and put humans back in charge of our country to administer freedom instead of that brutal and blind force that the lawyers use against us that is disguised as law. In the United States, we are supposed to have freedom, not law. We're supposed to have a rule of freedom, not a rule of law, as administered by 1.3 million enemies of the people of the United States who are called lawyers, or attorneys, or just scumbags. That's what they are. You may have brothers, sisters, cousins, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, who you think are decent people who are lawyers. Well, their profession forces them to commit crimes against all of us to earn the big bucks that they get. And that's why they do it. Lawyers aren't all inherently evil, but they commit the most horrible crimes against all of us to get those dollars. And we have to stop it. We have to abolish the whole profession of law as administered by that Bar Association and those 1.3 million criminals who destroyed our country and destroyed our freedom. We can do this very quickly if we unite. Think of yourself as the highest authority in the United States. That's what you are. When we unite, we can enforce that authority, and we can order the cops to arrest every lawyer in the country who works in our government, throw them all out, and put ourselves in charge to administer freedom and stop the banks from destroying what could have been a great country. We could have been free. We lost it 105 years ago in 1913. And you're brainwashed by TV to believe that you have to comply with all of this freedom-destroying garbage from the bankers and lawyers. You do not have to comply with that. You have the power to unite. Every time someone joins to unite against them, we become more powerful. I don't know how many million of us it will take united against these criminals to remove them from our government, but it will take some millions. Eventually, we will have 300 million of us united against them, and they will never get into our country again and never destroy freedom again. And burden us with that counterfeit money of the Federal Reserve that puts all of us in debt and destroys us by inflation all the time. Inflation is always rising and it never stops because the money that the Federal Reserve loans us, that counterfeit money, is rigged so that it can never be repaid. That's why the country is $22 trillion in debt and you have to pay taxes. The owners of the Federal Reserve know that we cannot pay back that money. It's going to continually increase, and we can stop it. We can abolish the Federal Reserve and replace all those dollars with United States notes so that nobody loses a dime just by firing our government. And we can do that if you will talk about doing it. You have to start talking about firing the government, uniting against it, uniting against the Bar Association, firing every judge and attorney general in this country, and putting humans back in charge to manage our freedom. Will you do that? Will you stop listening to all the liars on the internet who tell you the truth, but won't tell you that we are required to fire our government? That's what you're supposed to do as an American. That's what the Declaration of Independence tells you to do. Throw off such government after a long train of abuses and usurpations. You have to do that. You have to talk about it. Thanks for watching.